I'm going to show you a video that will probably make your blood boil, and it will also shed a light on why the deportation flights from Ireland, 6 of which have taken place this year, are costing hundreds of thousands of euro each just to get rid of 50, 60 asylum seekers, failed asylum seekers, back to from whence they came from. Now, this is a strange one because this flight went out at the beginning of November, a few weeks ago. But yesterday, a story came out through the Irish Examiner where apparently Garda Síochána had granted them exclusive access to video and document the process that's involved in getting rid of 52 failed asylum seekers out of Ireland and back to Tbilisi in Georgia. 52 people were deported. Around 150 extra staff were needed on that flight to get them back to their country of origin. Yes, 150, including 117 Gardaí, an extra 10 Gardaí support staff, family liaison officers, medical staff, interpreters, human rights observers. These were all put on the plane with them. So to get rid of 52, you had to have a flight with about 200 on it. This is madness. And the cost is beyond belief when you think about everything else that needs to be done in Ireland at this time. So the background to this is that 7 children, 45 adults were deported to Georgia. This was a couple of weeks ago. 52 people in total, 7 children. And then it talks about the adults, 45, 35 men and 10 women. So the men were outnumbering the women 3.5 to 1. Remember, men going to war leave their families behind. Men fleeing from war bring their families with them. 3.5 to 1, the men outnumbered the women. Along with 7 children, landed in Tbilisi at 2:30 Irish time 2 weeks ago, according to the Department of Justice. So that was the original story. But we didn't get any video footage or any background to that. It's the 6th deportation this year. The total number of people removed by charter flights is 205. Absolutely pathetic. While 146 more have been removed on commercial flights. The flight was provided by Air Partner Limited at a cost of €187,000 for a return flight. Because don't forget, they had to bring the 150 Gardaí, interpreters, liaison officers, and human rights observers back to Dublin again. Absolutely sick. The total costs are not yet available as the invoicing process has not yet been completed. So that's a minimum of 187,000. Jim O'Callaghan said deportations will continue for the remainder of the year. Well, we've only got about 5 weeks left. What's he going to do? Squeeze one more in? Couple of €100,000? Get rid of another 50? Maybe? Insane. 383,870 deportation orders have been signed this year, and 200 to 300 have been removed on these charter flights. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. But anyway, let's get back to the story at hand. Inside Ireland's deportation system, how Gardaí carry out large-scale charter removals. And, you know, this one's an odd one. Is it meant to tug at the heartstrings? Is it meant to show the Irish government in a good light when it comes to soft touching and treating people with kid gloves? Or is it meant to rub salt in the wounds of Irish people who are struggling to get houses, to get doctor's appointments, while their children leave the country because of lack of opportunities and housing? And the government are opening up checkbooks and signing invoices for hundreds of thousands of euros at a time. So let's look at this report and you can tell me what you think.
Largest charter flight deportation carried out to date. I asked Detective Superintendent Dave Kennedy to explain.
So today we're effecting 52 deportations where we're travelling to Georgia. 52 people are being deported, removed to Georgia. Those 52 people are subject to deportation order and were present in the state.
Look at that. There's nearly as many Gardaí and ground staff standing around outside this airplane as there are deportees being put on it. Remember, 117 Gardaí, plus around about another 30 support staff, interpreters, medical staff, human rights observers, extra Garda support to get 52 people back to Georgia. It's obscene.
The removal today is involving 117 Gardaí who are travelling on the aircraft. As
you heard it, 117 Gardaí travelling on that aircraft, let alone the cost. But taking 117 guards off the streets when they could be dealing with crime that they need to be dealing with here for what, two days plus to escort 52 people back to Georgia when they should have cleared off on their own accord?
Escorts, that includes Frontex trained leaders who are trained and oversee the operation. We have a backup team as well of 10 Garda members, and then that's supported by 23 members of the ground support who have liaised with the Irish Prison Services Department of Justice throughout the planning of this operation.
3 families with young children were among the deportees, so I asked the detective how the deportation experience differs for the children.
In terms of the families, we have 3 family units on board. So what we do is when we're engaging with families, we engage very early on. They all know about the operation today. In one instance, we've housed a family in a hotel overnight. We have dedicated guards who are involved. They're all in plain clothes, unmarked vehicles, etc. And as you've seen today, they're afforded a number of different entertainment. They can either have their phones or their tablets, or they're provided with toys that we obtain for them to keep.
Phones, tablets, toys. Maybe you're thinking, oh, you're being very hard-hearted. I'm not. The parents brought them here. They failed the asylum process. They're being taken back in comfort in these planes, getting hotels paid for, getting everything else paid for, unmarked cars, special arrangements. I'm guessing the 127 Garda, I'm guessing those aren't to police those children. So who else is on that plane that they need 127 Garda? 127 on that plane. It's not for the kids, is it?
Keep them entertained. We exclude them and keep them out of eyesight of anyone that's been in prison trucks. We don't let them see the Garda vehicles where at all possible, and we isolate them in terms of the boarding and their capacity and seating arrangements on board the aircraft as well.
Look at this.
While most people boarded the aircraft calmly, we witnessed one individual who resisted and had to be restrained. So I asked what safety and safeguarding protocols were in place to preserve dignity, bearing in mind only one of the 52 deportees had a criminal record.
So they're saying one of the 52 had a criminal record, and yet they were rolling people up in prison vans. They had a special mattress ready and waiting for someone who was screaming and yelling and fighting and being combative as they were forced to the ground and restrained before being dragged onto the flight. And we're seeing this is all being recorded for the public's viewing.
So we have an independent human rights monitor, and they're on board the flight, and every operation we do, we seek to include and involve a human rights monitor. We also have 2 medics, a trained doctor and an advanced paramedic. We have an interpreter, and we have, as I said, a Frontex trained leader. All the Gardaí involved have experience in removals and forced removals from the state, and have experience in these type of operations.
After boarding was completed, I met with Detective Chief Superintendent Aidan Minnock outside the Garda station at the...
This guy Minnock, by the way, I'll show you the evidence. This guy Minnock is the guy who said on New Year's Eve last year that no one comes into Ireland, no one migrates into Ireland without documentary evidence, fingerprinting and photo ID. This is what Minnock said, and I'll show you the proof after he finishes spouting in this video.
Airport, where he spoke about the wider pattern of deportations carried out this year and some of the misconceptions the public have about them.
This is our 6th chartered operation this year.
Is this guy okay? Is this guy okay? Or is he from the Catherine Connolly Academy of the Living Dead. Look at him. Bloodshot eyes, red eyes. Is that because he's up at 5 o'clock in the morning, put on his best shirt and tie, and yet looks like he's just came out of a coma? To stand at the airport with his little furry microphone on and talk about what he's doing? Look at this guy. Is he sick or is he well? I mean, I genuinely am concerned for him.
And to date, we've removed 182 people by way of charter operations. In addition to that, we did an operation in June and July where we removed 44 Brazilian nationals on a Pacific operation. And we've also removed 196 people on commercial flights over the course of the year.
So what?
So this year so far, we've removed 422 people, either by way of deportation orders or other removal orders, which are basically issued by the Minister for Justice and the Garda National Immigration.
Look at the people they have gathered round. And this is all to coordinate these people going onto that flight. This is sick.
Bureau is essentially mandated to remove these people from the state. So it's important, I suppose, to remember that all of these people have been given the option of a voluntary return process.
Backup team. And of course, the guy with the yellow patch is the team leader. He's the team leader. He's the backup team that's backing up the 117 guards who are backed up by an extra 10 guards, who are backed up by a doctor, who are backed up by a medical team, who are backed up by an interpreter, who are backed up by a Human Rights Watch activist. How can this be justified in these days, in this climate that we're in, this economic climate, if nothing else?
Process. And this process has recently been significally incentivized further.
Team leader.
Following the issue of a deportation order, they get 28 days to leave the state in their own accord, and if they fail to do,
should be out on the streets. People being murdered in Cork City. 2 people stabbed in 2 separate incidents. 2 of them are dead, 1 critically ill in Cork over the last few days, and Garda are milling around the airport at 5 o'clock in the morning, 120 odd of them, to escort 52 people back to Georgia. Does that make sense?
So it's at that point when the Garda National Immigration Bureau will effect the deportation order. In effecting these orders, we do it in a very humane and human rights compliant way. We notify people that families that we're going to remove them from the state, they get due notice, and ultimately it culminates, and I suppose what has happened today, which is a charter operation with 52 people today leaving the state.
Wow, 52 people. 52 people leaving the state. These are the returns over the last few years. Deportation orders in 2022, 549. 2023, 857. 2024, 2,403. 2025, 3,887. And they're trying to make it look like there's been some form of success this year, that 6 flights might go out by the end of the year with a total of 373 deportations. It's absolutely pathetic. And there is Minnock's infamous statement that he made, as you can see, 30th of December 2024. There is no such thing as an unvetted migrant to Ireland. The head of Garda National Immigration Bureau, Aidan Minnock, who's the guy you've just seen, who just looks like he's crawled out of the crypt. There's no such thing as an unvetted migrant to this country. Everyone coming to Ireland seeking international protection is fingerprinted and identified. BS. Detective Chief Superintendent Aidan Minnock also rejected claims, notably by the far right, the mythical far right. Here they go again, that asylum seekers are criminals who pose a threat to public safety. Well, in his own words, at least one of those people, at least one that they're telling us of on that flight, was a criminal, brought up in a prison van, probably dragged out, thrown onto that mat, kicking and screaming as he was sent back to Tbilisi. So anyway, there you have it. Lights, camera, action. That's what goes on a deportation flight. Either to made to look like The government's doing above and beyond, because they like to do above and beyond when it comes to treating everyone except the Irish well. It's either a nice little PR exercise for the government, or it's to rub salt in the wounds of Irish people who are already hurting and disgusted at this time. Or maybe it's both. What do you think? Leave me your thoughts, comments, and opinions below. Make sure you share this video. Cut and paste the link and drop it out. Let people see the joke that is Treasure Island, or Treasure Ireland, as it's also known across the world. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. I haven't put you off my ranting and raving, but hey, it is what it is. For now, I'm Rick Munn. This is No Risk.